What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Celtics Daily with me, Mike Zakarian, as we continue to dive through the Beantown Boys NBA offseason. We got a fun one for you today. We got a former Celtic legend just showing out. We got some more Neemias Queta updates, and then we've got an injury in the Eastern Conference that actually might have shaken stuff up just a little bit. Maybe, just open the door slightly for the Boston Celtics. And then, of course, we'll end today's video with some of your comments from our previous video, which is a reminder, get involved in the chat. Way more fun when we get some of your feedback as we're going through the videos. And if you haven't subscribed yet, let's hit the subscribe. We've cruised past 2,000 subs. Keep that energy going. Let's keep it going. Speaking of keeping it going, Daniel Theis, man, former Celtic legend Daniel Theis, is enjoying basketball in Europe. EuroBasket is like 2 to 3 games in. They're in like group play right now for those that pay attention to FIBA or the Olympics. Similar situation where they'll do some group play and then move on. Daniel Theis, the German, on a squad. All right, this German team is a squad. They got Dennis Schroeder over there, Franz Wagner, Mo Wagner, Isaac Bonga, lots of NBA players in there. But it was Daniel Theis who played. Ready for this? In 23 minutes, he scored 23 points. Now, for you math nerds out there, that's a point per minute. 23 points, 6 boards, an assist. He went 6 for 6 from the field, 3 for 3 from 3, which means he did not miss a single freaking shot. Daniel Theis was awesome as Germany won this game. They've won all of their games pretty handily, and they played Lithuania, who, no slouches themselves. They have a ton of NBA players on that team as well. They've got the rookie Jokubaitis, which is a terrible pronunciation on my part, and Jonas Valanciunas over there as well. I know I'm forgetting some other ones, but Daniel Theis just out there balling, and it got me doing some Googling. Hey, Siri, who does Daniel Theis play for right now? The answer is nobody. Daniel Theis, a current free agent, and I'm just going to rattle some stuff off, okay? Just some, he's 8-year NBA vet, right? He made his debut in October of 2017. He's 33 years old. Now, I did not know this, but according to Basketball Reference, his nickname, Vanilla Theis. This is the type of information you tune in for. Vanilla Theis, baby. But he played a few seasons for the Celtics, right? Started his career with us, and then was like fairly productive, right? Would play 63 games in his rookie year. His second year, he played 66. Then he played 65, all with Boston. Nothing crazy. However, his third year, the 2019-2020 season, he did average 9 points and 6 boards and over a block per game. After that, he did a lot of two-way deals. Still played with the Celtics in 2021. Bounced around, came back in 21-22, then went to the Pacers for a little bit, the Clippers, and then was last seen on the New Orleans Pelicans last season, where he played 32 games, just averaging 4 points and 3 boards in 16 minutes per game. But I'm just throwing this out there. Like, again, one of the concerns heading into this NBA season is the lack of front court depth. And if you're just trying to plug some holes here, I mean, maybe there's not a lot of upside in Daniel Theis at this point in his career, right? He kind of is what he is at this point, where you could probably play him 18 minutes a game, and he'd do fine for you. But again, like when we think about a veteran presence in the locker room, somebody that clearly the Celtics enjoyed playing with, they kept him around for as long as they did, right? I feel like you could take worse shots. I don't know how like positive this sounds, or I'm like, well, you could do worse, but. Again, seeing him ball out in Europe, which I know the European game is a little bit different, obviously, than the NBA game, but I don't know. Maybe it's just making me nostalgic for those younger Celtics teams, but Theis, one of the things that I will always remember about Daniel Theis, in Ryan Russillo, formerly of The Ringer, apparently on Barstool Sports right now. How come, hey, Russillo and Bill Simmons, can you guys talk about this? But anyways, Russillo would always point out that nobody got hit harder without getting a foul call than Daniel Theis. That dude, I swear, like once every other game would get slapped straight up in the face and would just not get calls. But anyways, it was good to see Theis cooking in Europe. We don't get to see that too often, and to see him just ball out a little bit. I don't know, it made my heart warm. He's probably not coming back to Boston. His NBA career might be winding down at this point, although he's somebody that I could see a team taking a flyer on halfway through the season after they are hit with some injuries or whatever. Staying in Europe, though, let's talk about our Portuguese prince that was promised, Neemias. I'm about to start for the Boston Celtics, Queta. And listen, he was coming off that insane performance in Game 1. 23 points, 18 rebounds, was like shooting 70% from the field. My guy knocked down a three-pointer, and I was like, holy crap, what is happening? Well, came back to earth. Came back to earth in that matchup against Nikola Jokic. I'm going to try to pull up the numbers for that. I believe their next game, by the way, oh no, I'm sorry, they played Turkey yesterday. So we've had back-to-back performances from Queta that are maybe, I don't know, not the sexiest. So let's look at Portugal and Serbia. Serbia, again, Nikola Jokic, they won this game, Serbia, that is, 80-69. So Queta, 23 and 18 in that first game, follows it up against Serbia, and it was in 21 minutes, 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, only took 5 field goal attempts, going 2 for 5 from the field. So, you put him up against a legendary NBA big, and I don't know, came down to earth just a tad, just a little bit. I don't think that's full panic mode. He was going against freaking Nikola Jokic, the best big in the league. So I'm not too freaked out about it. I would have liked to have seen him hold up his own a little bit. I watched a little bit of this game illegally, but I watched a little bit of this game, and there was long stretches during the game where the coach kept Queta on the bench. I mean, again, he still played his normal minutes, but clearly this wasn't the best matchup for him. Excuse me, guys, my allergies killing me today. But let's see that matchup against Turkey, which was yesterday. Turkey blew the doors off of them, 95-54. But again, another NBA matchup here against Alpi Sengun, the young center for obviously for Turkey, but for the Houston Rockets as well. And if we look at the player stats in this game, Queta, much better performance. He had 15 points, 7 boards, and assists in 23 minutes, 4 for 8 from the field. Only took 1 3-point attempt, didn't make it. Also 7 for 9 from the free throw line. I do think that is a more promising performance. I saw a lot of people on Twitter kind of docking him a little bit when he, got off to that slow start against Nikola Jokic. Listen, the Joker's incredible. I think I mentioned this in a previous video, but in the first game, he was doing some crazy post moves and just threw the ball behind his head, just wide open corner 3 for the guy on his team. It's just insane. So I'm not going to judge Queta, who, again, was barely playing last year, right? Was our second, maybe third, actually, our third, sometimes fourth big behind Porzingis, Al Horford, and Luke Cornett, right? I'm not going to assume that he's going to go up against a perennial MVP candidate and dominate him. However, going against Sengun and performing in this way is making me feel a little bit better, because Turkey is a deep team. They are a good basketball team. And for Queta to go up against an all-star caliber center on a team that's favored to finish top 2 in the Western Conference next season, I think for Queta to be able to hold his own is a positive sign, for the upcoming season. And I am starting to really talk myself into him as a 5. I mean, he seems like his game has evolved. It seems like he's taking this opportunity seriously to be the starting center for the Boston Celtics, and I'm excited to continue to see. Let me actually double check their schedule right now to see when their next game is. And listen, this is the last day of August, baby. So I don't know if you understand, but training camp right around the corner. So we're going to start getting some real updates here in the next few weeks about Boston, and then maybe get a feel for what that last roster spot's going to look like. So I mentioned Portugal lost to Turkey. We're going back in the wrong direction here. That actually might be it for their group play. And after going 1-2, I'm not sure if they're going to get out of the group. I will just say Giannis has looked incredible. Luka's looked incredible, and Lauri Markkanen, man. Lauri Markkanen is one of the best European basketball players that we've seen so far in recent history, outside of Carmelo Anthony. I'm just gonna real quick. This was not on the docket, but he's just had insane highlights this entire run. They beat Montenegro 85-65. Nikola Vucevic on this team. In 31 minutes, Lauri went for 26 and 13, going 7 for 10 from the field and 6 for 9. Nice from 3. Let's pull up another game, because I believe he had a 40-point performance not too long before that. So they beat Montenegro. And then they took on Great Britain. Love seeing Great Britain take an L. 109-79 in this game. And in this one, Lauri continued to ball out as the player stats aren't loading. He had 43 points, 2 rebounds, and assists in 23 minutes. In 23 minutes, he went 7 for 13 from the field and 6 for 9 from 2. Also went 10 for 11 from free throw line. And I'm just bringing all of this up because the Utah Jazz, right? One of the issues, Lauri Markkanen should have been on one of these the cryon tickers there over on the right side of your screen, because I feel like he's going to be a trade candidate. And one of the things that kept bringing up this offseason and heading into the offseason, was that the Utah Jazz would probably try to trade Lauri Markkanen, but they needed to wait till his value got brought up. And the reason his value has been down is because the Ainges, shout out Danny, and now the son who's made his way over there, Austin, well, Austin didn't do this, but Danny, they kept shutting their players down because the Jazz were trying to take so hard. So Lauri was only playing like 50 games a year, and even when he was playing, none of it was meaningful. Well, guess what? They might not have to rebuild his value for the Utah Jazz because Finland's doing it for him, because he had that 43-point performance again against Great Britain. And let's look at that first game against Denmark. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was their first game was that, because they have one game left, Their last game is going to be against Israel a little bit later today. So maybe by the time this video even goes up, Lauri's already dropped another 40. But anyway, shout out Markkanen. That is a name I would pay attention to, because if the Celtics are trying to wheel and deal and try to get another stretch type of 4, I don't think he can do small ball 5, but 4, man, I do think Lauri, and especially if the price has dropped on him a little bit. We know he's under contract. Let me actually pull that up. We know he's under contract for a few more years, because if you recall, the Golden State Warriors were thinking about Lauri Markkanen for a little bit. And then for whatever reason, they were like, we can't trade Brandon Podziemski. And so he wasn't included in the deal. Then Lauri ended up signing that extension with Utah, which is why he couldn't get traded last year. But now, starting, I believe, either in August or December, I think he can get traded. But I just want to pull up his contract to see how long this is. So, yeah, he's got 3 more years at around $46 million a year. So it's honestly probably a little too pricey. But I just wanted to shout out Lauri, and just, at least we got basketball going on in Europe. All right, that was a long tangent. Shout out Neemias Queta. Keep balling, kid. Keep balling. Let's talk a little bit about the Strus is loose. I mentioned a Cleveland Cavaliers injury. Max Strus had a pretty scary injury. Former Celtic, by the way, although I think we cut him. Scary injury called I believe it's a Lisfranc. No, Jones. So, oh God, I should have had this written down. I think it's a Jones break or something like that. Anyways, it's an injury in his foot that required some surgery, and then it's 4 months until he's able to participate in basketball activities. And I bring this up because the Cavs are obviously favored in the East, right alongside the Knicks, as the two juggernauts in the Eastern Conference. Now, the Cavs spent money on Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley. They still have Jared Allen. They have paid DeAndre Hunter was already paid as well. They don't have any flexibility. They are an aggressive second apron team right now. And losing a guy like Max Strus, you might see this and be like, well, yeah, but it's the Cavs. They're going to have a chance to play in the finals. A lot of vets are going to be interested in going there. They just don't have the flexibility. So a guy who costs $500,000 just for the season, or let's say $1 million just for the season, ends up costing them $4 million because of the second apron, right? It's just so expensive. So Malik Beasley was rumored. Oh, is he interested in Cleveland? I actually don't think that's going to happen, because financially, I don't know if they're going to be willing to go that deep into their pockets, right? So the Cavs now become pretty thin, right? If you remember, they lost Ty Jerome as well, who went to the Memphis Grizzlies. So now, their starting 5, DeAndre Hunter maybe slides into their starting 5. Obviously, Karis LeVert's not there anymore. He's with the Detroit Pistons, also went to Atlanta before that. But that just puts them in a pretty tough spot. And then you, again, just quickly going through the Eastern Conference, the Knicks, who, yes, they're also supposed to be up there. They've got an incredible starting 5 on paper, where you look at Cat, OG, Bridges, Hart, and Brunson. The Deuce McBride maybe takes a leap. They have a new coach. They still haven't really shown anything in the playoffs outside of beating our Boston Celtics. The Pacers have a similar situation that we're in. They lost Miles Turner. Also lost Halliburton for the year. The 76ers are mentally just out of it all the time, right? Embiid's probably not going to play a ton. Paul George is going to miss some time. You get the Milwaukee Bucks, who basically have me playing point guard, right? So they don't have a great team. You go to Orlando and Atlanta, who again on paper look great, but if you haven't won anything in the postseason, Orlando hasn't won a postseason series in forever. And Atlanta, probably since the Dwight Howard days, right? And Atlanta hasn't won one since I think since the Trae Young experience in New York, right? So I'm look at Miami, cool. You got Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins, Hero, and Bam. Yeah, sure. I'm just saying, I feel like the door's been opened a little bit. I'm not out here saying the Celtics are going to finish as the second seed in the East. I just think the East is still pretty wide open. And a team like Detroit, a team like Boston, if they get up to a hot start, I don't know. I just think the East is wide open. I think that's an injury that not a lot of people are talking about, the Max Strus one. But I do think that puts Cleveland in a pretty tough spot. Let's get into some of your comments here. We'll wrap up on this weekend. Appreciate everybody hanging out and engaging in the content. It's been fun seeing this channel grow. Let's keep that energy going. And let's get into some of your comments. Hit the subscribe. Let's look at, we had our guy, Darren Anderson in here. Darren Anderson, 29780. Let's go. This is a long comment, but we're going to get to it. He goes, listen to your idea of Jaden Hardy. Remember, we talked about Hardy and OMP for Dallas. By the way, they ended up getting rid of Oliver Maxence Prosper. They just cut him. They just released him. So maybe maybe he does sign somewhere. But anyways, they did all this to keep Dante Exum. But anyways, he goes, how honestly, this trade fixes two of our problems. And he was saying putting Hardy and OMP together. This trade goes with the Celtics trading Simons, Tillman, and a first. Dallas would trade Gafford, Christie, and Hardy to the Celtics. The first rounder can honestly be when they want it. Even if it's next year, we're gaining the value of a first year. Gafford has 3 years. Hardy has 2 years with a second year with a team option, and Christie has 2 years. Listen, I'm a big Max Christie fan. I think he played when he got traded from the Lakers to the Celtics. To the Mavericks. He was playing great basketball. And then the Mavericks made a couple more injuries, more things happen, and then Christie stopped playing a ton. I just wanted to throw this out there because there was also a comment, I think, from our guy, AJB. He said, right, was it AJB? I think it was saying that I want to keep, here, AJ Burgess, excuse me. As of August 29th, 2025, the Lakers are reportedly considering a significant trade to send Austin Reeves to Dallas for center Derek Lively. And he was just pointing out, because I keep saying that Derek Lively's not available, that Nico Harrison is willing to trade Derek Lively. But those two bigs, I do think, are both great candidates to land somewhere else. I think Gafford, again, is more likely. And let me just pull up their contracts here, just so we know what we're working with. Lively, I think, would be more expensive because of his age and because of being on a rookie deal. He's just going to be, and I think he's still got one more year on that. Let's look it up right now. Lively currently makes $5 million this year. Next year makes $7 million. Okay, so it's not as cheap as I thought it was. And then where is our guy, Danny Gaff? Daniel Gafford makes $14 million this year, but a total of $54 million over the next 3. But I do think both of those guys, interesting candidates at making their way to a different team, just because they have so many bigs. They've got so many bigs, and Anthony Davis, P.J. Washington, Cooper Flagg, not really a big. And then Gafford and Lively, and I'm sure I'm missing some other guys too. And they need guard play. Right now they have D'Angelo Russell and the corpse of Kyrie Irving. So, who knows? Who knows? All right, that's going to do it for us today. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe on the way out. Get involved in the comments, and we will see you back here tomorrow.